Listen, if you're planning to move to Africa and you have not answered the 26 questions that I'm about to go through with you right now, then you may not even want to move, because at the end of the day, we just wrapped up cohort 5 of the Mature Adult Intensive, and I looked at the notes, I looked at the questions people were asking and the content we covered during week 1. And so a few questions popped out, and I'm going to tell you about them here to get your wheels turning, to assess if you're really ready to move abroad as a digital nomad, a retiree, or a traveler. Section 1 talks about the most critical aspect of all, which is your legal status. Like, at the end of the day, if you can't stay, then how are you going to be abroad? So answer these 6 questions, or think about them in your head. You may not even know the answers, and that's okay. That's what the Mature Adult Intensive is for, okay? And cohort 6 starts at the top of February 2026, but here's the thing, it sells out fast. Like, cohort 5 is fully packed. On a group coaching call, people are having a phenomenal time. We have clients in there that have property in Belize, but are now like, hey, I'm looking at the Mascarene Islands. But anyway, let me get to your questions. Number 1, what visa am I actually eligible for right now? Number 2, what disqualifies people for this process? Number 3, what documents should be notarized or apostilled if I want residence? Number 4, what delays most applicants? Number 5, what happens if I'm rejected? And then number 6 is, how long can I stay if my status changes? Now in section 2, let's talk about international finance, money, and banking. Listen, money problems abroad feel much larger than when you are in your home nation. And there are a few ways to avoid those difficulties, okay? But if you cannot answer this next segment of questions 7 through 11, that's a signal that you actually probably need to do some more strategizing. So number 7, how will money move into the country from your bank account? Number 8, what accounts will I keep open in the United States? Number 9, what happens if one account freezes? We actually had this happen to us before, but it was totally fine. It ended up being a blessing because we use a 4-tiered banking strategy, which we always cover in our programs and courses, okay? Number 10, how many months of living expenses do I actually have liquid cash that I have access to? And then number 11, what expenses will increase and not decrease abroad? Depending on where you're going, you may have expenses that actually increase. Not all of them will decrease. The majority, like your rent, your cost of living overall for your housing, is going to decrease, but there may be other areas that you're paying into as well, like your healthcare insurance or your transportation or any outings that you're doing, because when you live in paradise, it's kind of hard not to be tempted to just take a boat or go to the zoo or go on a safari or go do all the other things that you can do in Isle de Maurice. Now this next section, section 3, is pretty serious. It can get pretty concerning. And I'm the perfect person to tell you about it because I am pregnant and have gone through the healthcare system throughout East Africa in the last 6 years. And so here are your questions. Get your pen and paper ready. Number 12. What happens if I need urgent medical care? Number 13, where is the nearest hospital? That means you're gonna actually have to understand the neighborhoods that you're potentially going to live in before you leave the United States. What insurance covers me internationally? Who makes decisions if I'm incapacitated? And who do I call if something goes wrong? The joys of safety and daily life, but we need to get into the logistical nitty-gritty because these were a few topics that came up in cohort 5, session 1 of the Mature Adult Intensive just yesterday. What does crime actually look like where I'm going? That's question 17. Number 18, how do locals handle emergencies? This is such a good one because this changes throughout the different countries that you visit. It looks vastly different from Kenya to Tanzania to Mauritius to South Africa to Ghana. You have to understand how locals handle emergencies. Some may use more herbal remedies, but if you're taking like blood pressure medication or you have other medications that could contraindicate those herbal remedies, then it's an issue. This is where you really want to have a strategy and understand what things you can take and what things you cannot take. And then number 19, how will I communicate without my US phone number? Number 20, what cultural mistakes cause real issues in your real life? And number 21, how will I move around day to day? Section 5 is exit strategy stewardship, because at the end of the day, you have to be a good steward of what you're given, including your exit strategy out of the Western civilizations, okay? And so every wise move includes a return plan if necessary. Number 22, if I need to leave suddenly, how fast can I? What are some of the flight routes? For example, here in Mauritius, you can fly straight to Paris, Dubai. You can get pretty much anywhere on earth fairly quickly. It's actually a very central location, and that's not true of all of Africa. There are certain regions, like if you're in Rwanda, it would be very difficult to get back to the States, very difficult. You'd have to probably fly into Nairobi, Kenya, or Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, or Johannesburg just to get back out of the continent. These are things that you need to take into consideration. Number 23, where am I gonna stay if I do return temporarily? Your brother, your sister, your son, your daughter, like who? Number 24, who knows my plan to leave the USA? This is something where you need to tell people your plan. This isn't something where you quietly go, you don't tell anyone where you're going. That's gonna be a disaster. Let your family and friends know where you are and what you're doing. Even if it's at the last minute, let them know your literal location, okay? Number 25, what am I preserving by leaving? So what's gonna be your legacy abroad? Is there a reason for this move? Of course there is. Are you trying to help your children inherit a better life outside of the States? Are you trying to abandon Western values in favor of more African or Eastern values? Are you trying to retire to get back to better health and to lower your blood pressure? Or is this more of a faith move for you where you're like, no, I feel that I need to go, and so I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it with excellence. And then number 26, which is our last one for 2026, am I moving towards peace or away from pressure? That's the question that you have to ask yourself. Now, if these questions feel heavy, that's not a warning. That's wisdom waking you up in real time to let you know that this is a serious move that you're going to embark on. Mature adults do not rush their destiny. They steward it. They steward it. This is the work we do inside the Mature Adult Intensive. Not motivation, not lifestyle, not influencer type of stuff, not escapism. If you want guidance through these questions, not guesswork, you will know where and when to join us. Shalom, shalom.